Hello, my name is Caden and welcome to Modern Money. Today I want to talk about the insane financial advantage that you have if you are still in your 20s or even younger. Something that most people don't tell you about when you're in your 20s is the fact that your money is actually worth more now than it ever will be for the rest of your entire life. Now you might be thinking, well, how is that even possible? I mean, right now, if I go to the store with my older brother who's 10 years older than me, then, we both get the same amount of goods for $10. So how are you telling me that my money is worth more now than it's ever going to be worth? Well, the answer to that is actually quite simple. The answer is compound interest, and more specifically, the factor of time related to compound interest. Let me hurry and make a real world example for you so you understand what I'm talking about. Say that at 20 years old, you started to invest $100 per month into the S&P 500, which has an average return of 10%. And you continue to do that all the way up until you are 65 years old, or in other words, retirement age. Well, that would yield you $870,000. Well, actually just under $870,000, but nonetheless, $870,000 is no joke, right? Well, let's take that same example and say that instead of starting at 20 years old, you started to invest your money at 30 instead. Now, instead of getting to take $870,000 into retirement with you, now just because you waited 10 years, that 870 is actually $330,000. That's right. So 10 years cost you over $500,000 just because you chose to wait 10 extra years to start investing. Or in other words, that's over 60% more value for investing at 20 years old compared to investing at 30 years old. So now that you know that, then you might be thinking, well then what can I do to make sure that I'm getting the most out of this compound interest while I'm still in my 20s? Well, lucky for you, I will share 5 things that I do myself to try and increase the amount of compound interest that I'm able to utilize at my age. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is save and invest as much money as possible as young as possible. And I think the best way to achieve this is through a budget. Now, a lot of people out there still don't budget, and I think it's extremely important, especially if you're in your 20s, to start budgeting and make that a habit. As the more and more you start to budget, you can make tweaks here and there to your spending, and it will allow you to actually save as much money as possible, as well as getting a better understanding of where your finances are. Now, if you don't know how to budget, not to worry, I've got you covered. Down below, I'm going to leave a link to my Skillshare class. In there, it's a huge 45-minute class where I go over everything budgeting, and you can budget just the same way as I do. Number 2, we're going to want to pay off debt / stop getting new debt. Now, the debt that we're going to pay off is everything besides a mortgage. If you have a mortgage, don't pay that off. But if you have an auto loan, a credit card, revolving line of credit of any kind, personal loan, go get that paid off. Use your budget that you're going to have now, and you need to start slowly trying to tick away at these balances. And you don't want any monthly payments, because if you don't have monthly payments, then all that money that you are usually giving away to lenders, you can now give to yourself and invest. Okay, so step number 3, now that we're saving money every month, we're budgeting, and we're getting our debts paid off, we're actually going to need to be able to invest somewhere. And for this, I suggest a Roth IRA. And the reason why a Roth IRA is superior to a 401k or our standard IRA is because it is pre-tax paid. In other words, the money we put in there is pre-taxed money, so that way later on, after this beautiful compound interest has appreciated our money insanely, instead of having to pay taxes on all those earnings, with a Roth IRA, at 59 and a half years old, you can start pulling money out of that and you don't have a tax bill. This strategy will save you so much money later on when it comes time for you to actually retire and enjoy some of the wealth you've built. Now, my 4th thing that I suggest doing is picking up a side hustle. Get more streams of income into your life. And the reason why is because the more income you have, obviously the more money we're going to be able to throw into these investments. And the first idea that we wanted to achieve on my list here was that we wanted to save and invest as much money as possible, remember? So having extra streams of incomes, side hustles, side jobs, whatever it might be. Maybe you go and do yards for your neighborhood or something. I know you're 20, but you can still go do that. That will allow you to invest and save even more money. Number 5, certainly last but definitely not least, is that I suggest you surround yourself with like-minded people. people that also enjoy investing, that also like looking forward into the future. Surrounding yourself with people that are trying to better themselves. Doing so, you'll be surrounded by people who are constantly trying to better themselves, and that is going to push you even harder to want to better yourself more. One last tip I have for you guys is to subscribe to the Modern Money YouTube channel, as I am going to be uploading videos all the time talking about financial literacy, financial education, cryptos, investing, real estate, everything finance I'm going to cover here on my channel. As I said in step number 5, it's important to surround yourself with like-minded people who are trying to achieve the same things you are. Well, I am also a young 22-year-old trying to build wealth and a better future for myself and my family, as well as just trying to become a more well-rounded, better person in general. So if you're interested in joining the community, please hit that subscribe button down below, and don't forget to hit the like button on this video, as it does show YouTube that you did enjoy the content. Again, thank you guys so much for watching today. I really do appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next video.